Hello friends, welcome to the channel. In this video, we'll be discussing the fundamental concepts of critical reasoning. As you are aware, critical reasoning questions form an integral part of the reading comprehension section of CAT and all other management exams. And this section needs or asks you to have certain skills regarding the theoretical concepts of critical reasoning, as well as your reading comprehension ability and your reading speed, verbal ability. All these things are required. But this critical reasoning ability also is required for you to spot the correct answer choice from among the given options in the RC questions, because most of the critical reasoning questions are for not directly asked. They are forming part of the RC passages, and the questions that are asked in your RC passages sometimes need the critical reasoning aspects as well. So this is why I thought that I'll first make a video on the theoretical concepts of critical reasoning before discussing the RC passages. So without further ado, we will go to the concepts. So first we have to understand, in order to understand what is critical reasoning, first we have to understand what is logical reasoning. So logical reasoning, as you can read from the screen, it is the process of analyzing the given facts and then making some conclusions that are supported or derived from the facts. Means you are reading certain facts, and from the facts, whatever applying your logic, what can be concluded, that is called logical reasoning. So we apply our logic on the given facts to deduce certain facts that can be derived from them, and it is thus called deductive reasoning. So the logical reasoning is also called deductive reasoning, because you are applying your logic on the analyzing the facts on the basis of your logic, and then making some conclusions. Whereas critical reasoning is a higher form of logical reasoning, where you are not only applying the logic on the given facts, but looking for any inconsistencies or any kind of flaws or mistakes or loopholes in the logic that you have applied, so that your reasoning is perfect. So that is why it is also called inductive reasoning, because you are going beyond the normal logical reasoning process. You are doing the or applying the logical skills in a critical manner, looking at all the angles and all possible scenarios, thinking about all the errors or inconsistencies or loopholes in the logic, if any are there, so that your reasoning is completely perfect, and the decisions or the conclusions you make out of such reasonings are extremely good. So that is the difference between logical reasoning and critical reasoning. And since it is not a normal logical process, it is also called inductive reasoning. So critical reasoning is also known as inductive reasoning. Now we will just identify the difference between logical reasoning and critical reasoning with the help of a simple example. So you have certain facts here: the sky has become cloudy and a cool breeze has started to blow. So this is the fact given to you. Now how will you make a logical analysis? So if you do a logical analysis, the analyst will say it is going to rain. So as the sky is become cloudy and a cool breeze is blowing, what is going to happen? It is going to rain. So any person who has reasonably logical, he can understand that it is going to rain. But a critical analyst will not say it is going to rain, he will say it is likely to rain. So what is the difference between these two analysis? One person is analyzing that it is going to rain, so means this is a certainty or a finality, whereas the critical analyst is only saying that it is likely to rain. So he is taking into consideration the possibility that it may not rain also, because many of the cases, even when there is the sky becomes cloudy and cool breeze is blowing, sometimes the rain will not be the outcome. So that is why when a logical analyst will say it is going to rain, means he is definitely or he is completely sure that it will rain. A critical analyst will give that window of possibility for rain not happening as well. That is why he is using the word it is likely to rain. So this is the difference between logical reasoning and critical reasoning. So logical reasoning is a plain application of logic to arrive at a conclusion that is correct, whereas in a critical analyst will go beyond that. He will look at all possible angles, he will also look into the possibility of rain not happening, and then he will make a conclusion saying that it is likely to rain. It is not, he will not say it is going to rain, he will say it is likely to rain. So this is the difference between logical analysis or logical reasoning and critical reasoning. Now why this critical reasoning is important in management? And why? Because obviously it is important in management. That is why you are asked questions regarding your critical reasoning skills, or where your skills for critical reasoning are tested in the exam. So why this is required? Because in business decision making we have to use critical reasoning, not logical reasoning. Because whenever we make decisions in management, before we make the decisions, we have to look at all the issues from all possible angles, think about all the factors involved, identify all possible outcomes, prepare all possible contingencies, prepare for all the contingencies, and then make better decisions. So here, in any business decision making scenario, you are not asked, or you are not expected to make a casual decision on the basis of application of logic. You have to make a serious decision by thinking seriously about the issue at hand, look at it from all the angles, and think about all the factors, what could go wrong, what could be the possible outcome, what if the decision I make is not going to have the desired outcome, what will be the eventuality, how am I going to meet another outcome which is not what I wanted. So how can I prepare for that kind of a situation? So all these things you have to look at and then make decisions, because such decisions will be good decisions, and that will not cost the company any funds. Because in any business decision making, you are either making money for the company or losing money for the company. So all your decisions should be with the view to make money for the company, not to lose money for the company. This is why you need to make better decisions in business decision making, as a result of which you need to have critical reasoning skills. That is why this becomes an integral part of your management exams. Now coming to the structure of the questions in critical reasoning. Critical reasoning questions will consist of a short paragraph which is called a stimulus. You might be knowing it, and then there will be a question that is based on the paragraph. This is called a question stem, and there will be options, answer options, and your task will be to select the best answer from among the answer options. So see here, you have to understand that the task is not to find the correct answer. It is given the task is to find the best answer. So when you are uh, asked to find the best answer, it automatically follows that there will be more than one correct answer for the question in the critical reasoning uh, section. Because best answer obviously means that there will be more than one correct answer. Otherwise, the question will ask you to find the correct answer only. So this is why the critical reasoning section becomes slightly difficult, because there will be more than one correct answer. Your task will be to select the best answer. So this is the structure. Means a paragraph will be there, then there will be a question based on the paragraph, and then answer options. You have to select the best answer. So many of the times it will be part of the reading comprehension. I already told that. So the paragraph forms will be the paragraph that is given in the reading comprehension passage, and the question will be on the basis of that. Sometimes they ask a separate question where, or a small paragraph will be given, and the question will be there. So either case, the skill or the way you have to answer is the same. Read and understand what the paragraph is saying, then read the question properly, and then see the options, which is the best option you need to select. Now coming to the paragraph, the structure of the paragraph you need to understand. So it will have some information that will be given to you. So that information is called facts, and these facts are to be taken as true. So means whatever facts are given to you in the passage or the paragraph, you have to accept those facts as true, even though it might sometimes contradict with your general logic, or sometimes from the outside world. So never mix the knowledge from your outside world with the knowledge that is given to you as part of a passage or a paragraph. So accept the facts as true which are given in the paragraph. Then based on the information, they will be making some argument or reaching a conclusion. So this also will be there. So there will be some facts and there will be a conclusion or an argument. So that is called an argument or a conclusion. So the information is called facts, and the argument or the conclusion is called argument or conclusion. Then the facts alone will not be sufficient to make the argument or the conclusion. So even though you are given certain facts and a conclusion also is given, the facts will not directly lead to the conclusion. So you need to make certain inferences and assumptions. So here we come across two very important aspects of critical reasoning. What is an inference? What is an assumption? So inference is nothing but the understanding you get from the facts given. It is an stated fact, means that is not given to you directly as part of the passage, but something that you automatically understand from whatever facts are given to you. That is called an inference. So inference is nothing but some understanding you get from the facts given, which are not directly stated, but you deduce it from the facts given. So they are called inferences. Then what is an assumption? Assumption is an inference should be supported by the facts. They are not stated. Already I told you that. Then what is an assumption? Assumption is something that you make to connect the facts and the inferences to the conclusion. So inference is again unstated, means assumption, sorry. Assumption is again not stated. It is unstated. It is not given to you in the passage, but based on the facts and the inferences and the conclusion you have to assume certain things to be true that will help you to reach the conclusion. So such things are called assumptions. Means, I repeat once again, they are not stated, they are not given to you directly. Based on the facts which are given to you directly and the inferences which you make from the facts, you also make certain assumptions that will lead you to your conclusion. So inferences are not stated, they are connected to the facts. Assumptions are again not stated, they are connected to the conclusion, because only when there is a conclusion you need to have an assumption. So this is something you need to remember. Inference will be there as soon as you have certain facts. Means the inferences are understanding that you get from the facts, whereas assumptions will come into play only when there is a conclusion. Means whenever there is an argument or a conclusion, you need to make certain assumptions that are supported by the facts as well as the inferences, which connects you to the conclusion or which leads you to the conclusion. So that is the difference between the inference and an assumption. And these inferences and assumptions both are not stated, and they are not given to you, but you make them based on the facts given to you. So both are supported by the facts given to you, and inferences are directly derived from the facts. Assumptions are derived from the facts and the inferences when there is a conclusion or an argument. So these are the things you need to understand regarding this. Now we will understand this by using an example. So see the example that is given here. The fact that is given to you, Sachin Tendulkar has scored more centuries in international test cricket than any other batsman. So this is the fact given to you. Then the conclusion is, thus he can claim to be the greatest batsman in test cricket. So this is the conclusion. So the fact is, Sachin Tendulkar has scored more centuries in international cricket. Conclusion is, he is the greatest batsman in test cricket. Now, whether just by the fact you get the conclusion, just because he has scored more centuries in international test cricket, can he be considered the greatest batsman? No, you need to have certain inferences and assumptions. So I told you inference is derived from the fact. So what is the inference that you can get from the first statement that is a fact? The inference that you can get is Sachin Tendulkar is not an ordinary batsman. There are umpteen number of batsmen playing in international test cricket, but he is not an ordinary batsman. He is one of the great test batsmen in international cricket. So that is something you get from the fact. Now, will it lead you to the conclusion that he is the greatest batsman? Because there could be a lot of great batsmen in international test cricket, but why just because he has scored more centuries in international test cricket, why you are claiming, or why the person who has written the passage is claiming that he is the greatest test batsman? Because the person who has written the passage, he assumes that the criteria for the greatest batsman is that any batsman or any one of all the great batsmen who have played international test cricket, the person who has scored the maximum number of centuries should be considered the greatest batsman. So when you have this assumption, then it directly leads to your conclusion that Sachin Tendulkar is the greatest batsman in test cricket. In normal situation, do we think about all these things? No, we just think about these two statements and we say that it is perfectly valid. Sachin Tendulkar has scored more centuries in international test cricket, so he is the greatest batsman. So because since we are all logical human beings, we make the inferences and the assumptions automatically. Nobody has to tell us that this is an inference, this is an assumption. We automatically make this inference as well as the assumption, and we directly conclude that this he is the greatest batsman. But when you think about critical reasoning, you have to analyze the facts, the inferences, as well as the assumptions very, very minutely. This is why the questions are slightly complex, or you candidates find it difficult, because the minute analysis is something that you the skill that you develop over a period of time. So here, from the example, you should understand that the fact is given that he has scored the maximum number of centuries, so he is a great batsman. And the assumption is any of all the great batsmen who have played international test cricket, one who has scored the maximum number of centuries should be the greatest batsman. So that criteria when you use, then you can say that Sachin Tendulkar is the greatest batsman in test cricket, because there could be many other criteria for selecting the greatest batsman. Just because one batsman has scored the highest number of centuries, he should not be or need not be considered the greatest batsman. So only when you make the assumption that any batsman who has scored the highest number of centuries in international test cricket is the greatest batsman, then only the conclusion becomes a valid conclusion. So that is why this assumption need to be there. So the inference and the assumption are required for making this conclusion. So this is how you need to understand and analyze a critical reasoning passage. So first understand the facts, then go to the inferences, then think about the assumptions based on the conclusion. So first we have to read the conclusion. Only on the basis of the conclusion, suitable assumptions have to be made. So this is the structure. Now, you can see that inference is always based on the facts provided and has no relation to the arguments. Yes. So inferences are connected to the facts. It has got nothing to do with the conclusion or the argument. Only when there is a conclusion, the assumption comes into play, and assumption is derived from the facts as well as the inferences, and it leads to the conclusion. So these things you need to understand. Now, in a critical reasoning question, what are the things that you have to find? So generally critical reasoning questions will ask you to either find the inferences based on the facts. So facts will be given to you, you have to find the inferences that are based on the facts or unstated facts, then or find the assumptions based on the facts, inferences, and conclusions. So there will be facts given to you, there will be conclusions given, so you have to find the inferences and the assumptions that are leading to the conclusions, or find the conclusions that can be drawn from the passage. So in such type of questions, you will be given only the facts, and you have to make certain inferences and then certain assumptions, and out of the possible choices, find which conclusion can be logically valid. So that is the other form of question, or find the statements that support or weaken the conclusion. So indirectly it means that certain assumptions that are either supporting the conclusion or weakening the conclusion, because any statement that supports the conclusion which is not given in the passage is an assumption, or any statement that weakens the conclusion is a negative assumption, means assumption that is not supporting the conclusion. So that is something you need to find. Or then another type of question is finding a parallel reasoning. What is a parallel reasoning question? Some logic will be given in the question, and the same or the similar kind of logic is available in which of the answer options. That is parallel reasoning. So that also could be another form of critical reasoning questions. Don't worry about these things. When we do more and more questions on critical reasoning, these will come automatically to you. You need not worry about the complexity. When you think about the theory, it might look a bit complex, but when we do the questions based on the fundamental knowledge of critical reasoning, your process will become easy. So the process, again talking about the process is simple in all the cases. First, what you have to do is read the passage carefully, understand the facts and arguments clearly. So the first and foremost task which many people don't do is clear understanding of the facts. So if it is a RC passage, you have to understand the passage very, very clearly without any ambiguity or without any confusion. Only then you will be able to answer the questions properly. So that is the first and the foremost fact. Then read the question carefully to understand what you are required to find. So many people don't do this. They go for a casual reading of the question, as a result of which their answers invariably become wrong. So you have to read the question very carefully to understand what exactly the question is asking, or what exactly are you required to find. Then read the options one by one, eliminate the wrong options, and shortlist the possible answers. So this is called elimination process in critical listening questions and in RC passages. This is the best method that you can use. Once you have understood the facts given in the passage or the paragraph very clearly, and you have understood the question properly, then you can easily do the elimination process. All the wrong options that are not going to be the best answer for your question, you can directly eliminate. Whatever remaining becomes your possible answers. Then out of the possible answers, you have to select the best answer. So there the difficulty arises, because there could be more than one possible answer, out of which you have to again read the options very, very carefully, do the critical reasoning application where you look for any kind of mistakes or flaws or loopholes, and if there is any loophole, that answer is eliminated, and what remains will be your best answer. So this is the process you need to follow. Now we will do a practice question. So I'll give you some time to read the passage as well as the questions, then we will continue the discussion. All right, so what are the facts given to us? Means this is the passage, or these are the facts, this is the conclusion. So facts are, or argument you can say. So the facts are, once again, heavy rains have been lashing the city for the past 2 days, and the city council has put all emergency services on alert, even though no untoward incidents are reported so far. So from this we can understand that in a particular city, rains have been going on for the past 2 days, that is heavy rain, and because of which the city council or the corporation, they have put all the emergency services like police, fire, ambulance, hospital, etc. on alert in order to meet any kind of exigencies, even though no untoward incidents are reported so far. So everything, so far everything is normal. No flooding, no damage, nothing is there. Everything is normal. But the city council has put all the emergency services on alert. So these are the facts, and the conclusion or the argument is mayor has decided to declare a holiday for schools tomorrow. So keeping in view of the situation, the mayor has declared a school holiday for tomorrow. So now the question is, what is the best assumption made by the mayor while deciding to declare a school holiday? So here you have to find an unstated assumption that the mayor is making while taking his decision to give holiday for schools tomorrow. So before looking at the assumption, you need to understand the inferences also. So what is the inference that you can get from the facts given? The inference is that the mayor expects that rain is going to continue tomorrow also. There could be some untoward incident. How? Because even though everything is normal so far, all the emergency services are put on alert. Means what? Means the city council is expecting that the rains are going to continue tomorrow, and there might be some flooding. So that is why the inference that you can get from the facts given is that there could be some flooding in the city tomorrow, because the rains are going to continue tomorrow also. There is a possibility of it. So this is the inference. Now the mayor has declared a holiday. Now you look at the answer options. Option A, the rains will continue tomorrow as well. So since we have already discussed this, we can say that this is not an assumption, it is an inference. So what we need to find? Assumption has to connect the facts to the conclusion. The rains will continue tomorrow as well is an inference. It is not an assumption, because it is not leading us to the conclusion. So because why am I saying it? Because the rains may continue tomorrow also, but why school holiday? That is the reason. So you have to connect it to the conclusion. Conclusion is that mayor is giving holiday for schools. If the rains are going to continue tomorrow also, why not the mayor is giving holiday for all the establishments, offices, etc.? No, he is only giving the school holiday for school. So how you are connecting the inference that the rains are going to continue tomorrow to the conclusion? You are not able to do the connection. That is why this is only an inference, because it is connected to the fact given. It is not leading us to the conclusion, as a result of which we cannot say that this is a good answer. You might think that this is a good answer, but this is not a good answer. Okay, for the time being, if you think that this is a good answer, we will keep it as a possible answer. Option B, the emergency services will be able to move about freely within the city in case of flooding if school related traffic is absent. So here the mayor is expecting that there will be flooding in the city tomorrow because rains are going to continue tomorrow, and emergency services will be able to move about freely if school related traffic is absent. So this appears to be a good assumption, because the mayor wants all the emergency services to move freely within the city, for which the school related traffic is going to, should be taken away. But what is the problem here? See, any assumption should be supported by the fact. So here, do we have any fact given in the passage saying that school related traffic forms a majority of the traffic within the city? We don't know. We don't know whether school related traffic is a very forms a major part of the traffic within the city. If it is given to us, or if there is any hint that school related traffic is very high in the city, then this becomes a logical assumption. But since that is not given here, this does not become a logical assumption. One more reason is that, let us assume that the school related traffic is very high in the city, but even then what will happen? When will the school related traffic be there? It will be there only in the mornings and in the evenings. Though the emergency services have to be moving about freely in the city all through the day if there is flooding. So just because school related traffic is taken away only during the mornings and the evenings, will it help in the free movement of emergency services? We can't say, because school related traffic will be there only during the mornings and evenings. So this is why it cannot be a good assumption, because it does not pass the critical evaluation test, where you look at all possible angles. So this is why this is not a good assumption. Then option C, it is unsafe for children to be outdoors when there is a possibility of the city being flooded. Yes, so it is a good assumption. Why? Because we know from the facts that there is a possibility of the city being flooded, because of which the mayor has decided to declare a school holiday, because children are allowing children to be outdoors when there is a likelihood of flooding is not good. So it is not safe for children, so it lets children be safely within their homes. So this is why it is this inference is there, and this part is leading us to the conclusion that it is better for schools to be given a holiday. So this is what an assumption should be doing. Assumption should be based on the facts given, and it should lead us to the conclusion. So this is a good assumption. Keep it in your mind. Option D, because of the heavy rains, there could be flooding in the city tomorrow. So again, it may seem like a good assumption. Option A is yeah, I told you, even though it is an inference, you can consider it as an assumption and keep it in your mind as a possible answer. D also, because of the heavy rains, there could be flooding in the city tomorrow. So what is the problem with A and D? A and D are things that are directly inferences that we can get from the facts. Because of the heavy rains, you know that heavy rains are there could be flooding in the city tomorrow. Yes, that is why the emergency services are put on alert. So this A and D are actually inferences that are derived from the facts given. It is not leading us to the conclusion, because our conclusion is that why holiday for school. So these two, A and D, are not leading us to the conclusion, whereas C is definitely leading us to the conclusion. This is why C should be our answer. A and D are only inferences. They cannot be the assumptions. B can be an assumption, but it is not a good assumption because of the reasons I have already given you. So we can eliminate A, B and D. C is the best answer. It is the correct answer. So this is how you should approach a critical reasoning question. Understand the passage and the implications of the passage correctly, understand the conclusion, and then try to identify which are inferences, which are good assumptions, which is the best assumption. So this is the method. We will be doing more questions like this in coming sessions and in coming videos. So first understand the concepts thoroughly. If you want, you can go through the video again to understand or revise the concepts. Then when we do the questions in our future videos, we will be able to clearly get the distinction, or try clearly get the idea how to apply the logical and critical skills to arrive at the correct answer. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please share and subscribe to the channel. Once again, thank you. Bye bye.